So I was able to check out an early screening for the newest disaster movie called MoonFall. This movie is directed by Roland Emmerich, and before I go ahead and give my quick thoughts on the movie, if this is your first time here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and if this is not your first time here, well then welcome back. So if you may or may not have noticed, the background that I'm doing today's video in is a little bit different, and that is because for the next couple weeks I'm going to be out in Los Angeles visiting my friend Coleman, and so yeah, my next couple videos are going to be looking like this for a little bit, and we're going to be experimenting around and doing some cool, fun other videos. But as far as the movie MoonFall goes, I went into this movie differently than I do with other movies, and that is because I had seen no trailers for this movie. So the only thing I knew about this movie was that the moon was falling out of orbit and it was going to attack Earth, and that Patrick Wilson was in the movie. That's the only thing I knew. That's the only thing I needed to know, because the premise alone is a pretty cool premise. So I did just mention that the movie was directed by Roland Emmerich. Him as a director, he's a little hit and miss for me. Day After Tomorrow is good. I actually kind of enjoy White House Down, and the movie stars Patrick Wilson, as I previously said, Halle Berry, and the kid from Home Sweet Home Alone grew up, and he's in this movie too. When you're going to go see a movie called MoonFall, you kind of gotta expect the movie might be kind of crazy, ridiculous, stupid, wacky, any of those acronyms that I just used. And all of them are on point for what this movie actually is, because the movie is wacky, the movie's ridiculous, it's stupid at times, it's pretty crazy. Some of it in a good way, some of it in a bad way. So the basic premise of the movie, I really wish personally that they just stuck to that premise, because you don't really need to add anything else to that premise. The moon is falling out of orbit, it's attacking Earth, and there's going to be tidal waves, earthquakes, whole bunch of stuff. They should have just stuck to that simple premise. Now apparently in the third trailer for this movie, the final one that came out, they did tell you that there was aliens in this movie. Now that is something I did not know going into the movie, so when I'm watching the movie and I'm figuring out that aliens are involved, I can't lie to you if I didn't say that kind of ruined it and spoiled the fun of it just a little bit. Like I said, I wish they just stuck to the basic premise of the moon falling out of orbit and not really involving an alien monarchy and civilization. This movie does kind of feel like it's two movies split into one. The first half is much more fun and much more different than the last half of the movie. The first half of the movie, if the movie was split down the middle of the 2-hour runtime and it was a 1-hour movie, there would have been a perfect, great, fun time at the movie. But that last hour, you really do feel that, and it kind of does seem to drag just a little bit. And with a movie called MoonFall, you want to have some fun with it. You don't want to be sitting there wondering when the movie's going to end so that you can get outside and go to the bathroom. One more negative on this movie is the time that they spend in space and the time that they spend on Earth. There is a very drastic difference of interest between those two storylines. The storyline that takes place on Earth that deals with the main actor's children, honestly, you really don't care about them. You kind of just want to get back to what's going on in space with Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry. That's where all the interesting stuff happens, even when they do introduce the ridiculousness of aliens. Now, I spend a lot of the time giving a lot of criticism towards this movie, but at the end of the day, me and my friend walked out of this movie glad that we got out of the house to go see it. We had a fun time. We were able to enjoy ourselves. We were able to laugh at the movie, sometimes in the wrong parts of the movie that were trying to be serious, and sometimes at the comedic moments. Now, is this a movie that I'm going to remember next year or put on my top 10 worst or top 10 best of the year? No, this is going to fall in the middle of one of those movies that I kind of just forgot even came out. But one thing I will give this movie, and I am starting to see a little bit of criticism and divisiveness between the effects. I personally thought the effects were really good for a movie like this. I do understand that some people are pointing out little nitpicks of it with the large-scale disaster areas that they're showing at the city. Honestly, that didn't pull me out of the movie. I thought that the visual effects were actually pretty good in this movie. The alien goo stuff that's in this movie was pretty good. The moon itself falling on Earth as it's coming down, I thought it was visually great. And if Patrick Wilson did not already show me that he can be a leading man, this just kind of cemented it. He's great in The Conjuring. He's great in this movie. He's great in Aquaman. This guy needs way more roles in Hollywood. So are you going to get a chance to check out MoonFall? It's coming out next week and it's going to be facing off against Jackass 4. If you're just trying to have a fun time, maybe you're with a date, maybe you're with a buddy like I was, I think that you can go into it with your expectations relatively low, and I think that you're still going to be able to have a good time if you can get past all the silliness of it. So if you enjoy this video, hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like, leave a comment, and before I go, alright.
Snauers get det. Det är också bunset.